This week is one hell of an episode. First up, we swap our van for an apartment, and yes, it has a washing machine. That is, if you get as excited about a washing machine as Sophie seems to.
Look! It's like a whole laundry. This is so cool.
Next up, sunrise hike up Mount Cooroora, where we're treated to one of the most epic mountain sights we've seen on the trip so far, hands down. We experienced firsthand the scale of the region's deep produce bowl, visiting a macadamia producer.
Like they potentially could be all macadamias.
Mushroom supplier.
They get light, they get perfect humidity.
And the unofficial king and queen of the berry scene in Noosa.
Have a taste, that's probably the best way to taste one.
That is so sweet. We compete in a friendly cook-off with these two legends.
So we're going to go first, and then you're going to go second.
I'll be Team Duncan, you'll be Team Sophie.
Okay, you're on.
Done.
And take full advantage of the hotel rest day before getting back on the road again.
I was not expecting to get up here and there not be anyone here. I'm going to go right to the end and look out across the top.
In all seriousness, this episode we throw ourselves way out of our comfort zone. Touring around with chefs that are well versed in appearing on both TV and in documentaries. So, no pressure, right? I firmly believe that living outside your comfort zone is where you learn the most, and the moments you feel most out of control are the moments you grow as a person and as a creator. Sophie is going to hate me saying this, but at the end of the day, she turned to me with actual tears in her eyes, worried that we were out of our depth and wouldn't be able to make a video that lived up to our expectations. Personally, I think we smashed it, but I'll let you guys be the judge. I'm Duncan, and this is Sophie, and this year we've challenged ourselves to explore this great country of ours. Trying our hand at a heap of things we've never done before, and all the while making videos of our adventures.
Subscribe, and we'll see you on the road.
So we've just pulled into Peppers Noosa and I am definitely a little bit sketchy with a caravan behind us. Definitely getting some funny looks from people at the moment. Wondering why the hell we brought a caravan into a hotel complex. And hopefully we can park it up somewhere and I don't have to do loads of reversing and back and forward maneuvers because it is tight and a lot of people watching and I don't want to look like an idiot who doesn't know how to drive a caravan. That's a secret that I just want to keep between us.
After checking in, it was time to park up the van. In a space, the hotel assured us would be fine to leave our home for a couple of days. Now, through the power of editing, I could have shown you something like this. However, in reality, it was a lot more like this. After a few attempts and some minor floral hit and runs, we managed to get the van in across 3 spaces. God knows if we're going to have the turning circle to get it back out again, but that's future Duncan and Sophie's problem. The lounge is bigger than our caravan alone.
Oh, you could easily fit our caravan in there. Look! It's like a whole laundry. With like a proper size washing machine and a dryer. This is so cool.
So everyone doesn't think you're ridiculously sad, why is a washing machine and a dryer actually exciting?
Well, we have a tiny, tiny washing machine in our van, which like fits maybe underwear. So like the hardest thing about being on the road is finding somewhere to do your washing. It's painful. And clearly, by Duncan's expression, I'm the one that does all the washing. So this is awesome. This is better than the shower.
Can neither confirm or deny the fact that Sophie does a lot of the washing. One of the things I have noticed though, we have realised, is we've got a little washing machine in the van, and once you realise how much water a washing machine actually uses, because we've got 2 90-litre freshwater tanks, and I'm sure we did one little load of washing in the van and it used, I think, an entire tank to do that, or at least 60 to 90 litres. So when you actually see the water that goes into things and you're trying to survive off that, your drinking water and everything, you start getting a little bit more water conscious, and that's why, obviously, you can see Sophie's so excited to have a washing machine in our room. What are you up to here?
How cool. Like, we've literally just gone into our hotel room and we have this awesome recipe to make the signature Peppers gin and tonic with finger limes and probably the most awesome looking bottle of gin I've ever seen. It has this really cute label, which I love. Yeah, I'm not sure cocktails are the best idea before a 4 a.m. start, but you try and turning down a complimentary drink after all the excitement of ditching the van for a new pad with rooms. I can't actually believe what these look like. I've only ever had finger limes in like ice creams and, you know, desserts at restaurants. And it's like caviar. It just pops in your mouth. And then you get this real tang. It's so cool. I think we made this a little bit stronger than the recipe, but...
Well, the amount of gin we put in there, they're bloody strong. I don't know how you're making a straight face there. That's the rest of the gin. No wonder you like it. I'm gonna need a lot of coffee this morning. We actually got up at 4:15, which is far too early for us. But we've got a big day planned. We're heading out with the head chef here at the hotel for a morning sunrise hike. And he explained it to us yesterday, and I'm not gonna lie, he did make it sound pretty hairy and that it was pretty bloody steep. But he's assured us it's the best possible way to see the area, and I'm a sucker for a sunrise, so get some coffee into us, get changed, and get into the day.
Lifesaver. If you're wondering what that noise is, we've got a washing machine. So I've got my towels, I'm gonna do my laundry, gonna do the bed sheets. I'm in my element.
I swear, Soph's most excited when she came in here was that there was a washing machine. I've never heard someone walk in and be like, oh my God, there's a washing machine. I thought it was a joke. I thought she was sort of like taking the piss, being sarcastic. But no, she's put on 3 loads of washing since we've been here and got up at 4 this morning and put another load on. So obviously you are that excited. Yeah. Anyway, we're keeping them waiting now. So we've got to get out the door and get down to the minibus they've got for us. Let's get into it.
Each year, the mountain hosts a festival for lunatics who run all the way to the top and back down in an eye-watering 20 minutes.
Sadly, due to COVID, this was less of an event this year. Otherwise, we would have been straight up there.
Just got to the top. Now we're immersed in this cloud, which is actually really nice because you can feel the rain on your face to cool you down.
Matt and Andy would later tell us that catching the mountain with mist swirling around it like this was a first for them. And when we took to the skies, we were treated to this crazy atmospheric scene, like something straight out of Nat Geo.
To start with some serious exercising. This is a place where me and Andy both love to come and climb.
Yeah.
But the day today will be about kind of going and seeing some of the producers that supply us direct to the restaurant at View. And you know, they're not just producers to us now, they're friends of ours, you know, and they look after us and we look after them, and there's that mutual respect we have for what each other does.
What have we got planned? We've got a couple of producers that I think we're going to see today?
Yeah,
or?
so we've got 3 producers we're going to see today. All 3 producers that we use in the restaurant at the View. And then after we visit all 3 producers, we're actually going to do like a little bit of a cook-off between Matt and I. So we're actually going to pick...
It's not competitive.
Everything's always competitive, especially climbing up the mountain with Matt.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be a little bit of fun. So one of you can join with me and do the dessert, and the other one can do it with Matt. So we're going to go to the View first for breakfast, so you guys can actually see what we actually do there. And then we'll get freshened up, and we'll come back, pick Matt up, and then we're going to go back to our first producer.
Who won the race up the hill though? That's the more important
Matt
question.
always wins. So I'll
It's
let
only a matter of time. Yeah, whippersnapper, you're going to catch me one day.
This walk has been so worthwhile. It's a beautiful spot and just so nice to come up here with people that know the area. But we would never have heard of this place.
How does it feel driving around with the back of your face on the car? Do you want to reenact the pose?
Yeah. The one thing we always laugh about is the milk's out of date. Nothing good about having the.
That's the thing that as a chef you would notice, right?
Well, very attractive people. And as you can see, Matt and I are the same height, so you know.
Yeah. Okay, so we've just got back to our room after that amazing sunrise. My God, I can't believe those guys do that 3 or 4 times a week. That was, yeah, my legs are definitely feeling it, but it feels so good to have gotten up really, really early. I mean, it's what, like 8 o'clock now, and we've already done so much.
Climbed a mountain.
Climbed up a mountain. God, the shots from the top of that with the mist, so good. I think the guys have got a pretty big day lined up for us. I think we've got 3 or 4, 5, I don't know. They keep listing more and more producers that we're going to go see. From strawberry farms and berry farms to macadamia, mushrooms. Yeah, and then a cook-off at the end. So, there's a lot. The guys have really turned it on for us here. So
Yeah.
let's get showered, let's get changed, let's get into the day.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I feel like this is going to be the order of the day. Constantly rushing and always feeling like we're a little bit late for everything we do.
Yeah, but it's because we've got a big day planned.
Very big day. Righto, let's do it.
takeaway. Excellent recommendation for the eggs. I was just gonna get coffee, but I couldn't help myself. So we're running 5 minutes behind schedule, which I think for us is totally fine.
First stop, Matt's place to pick up some beetle leaf. Not to give too much away, but it's one of the key ingredients in his dish later.
This is the exact size we want, so I go through and pick out 100, and they last for ages as well, so they'll keep for 2 weeks in the fridge.
Yeah, right.
So that's the beauty of it. If we get them from our wholesaler, they can come and they can be like that size, which is, or massive, or, just ratty, got holes in them and stuff like that, and that's, most people don't want to eat them if they've been munched on by bugs.
So would that be too big?
Yeah, they get a bit. See, the thing is, you can eat them raw, but you can also use them. You can wrap stuff up in them and skewer them and grill them and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
And they look cool like that, as like almost like a dolmadi sort of roll, sort of thing. So the bigger ones are good for that, whereas it's like a perfect point. Kind of about that size, that they're still nice and tender.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't have the sheen of the older one.
Yeah.
First up, we're visiting Lindols Macadamias to discover a native to the region that has swept the globe. If you're a fan of macadamias, you can thank the Gympie region for these tasty nuts. Lindols even has some of the original genus trees that were first grown for their nuts.
Here we are at Lindols Macadamia Nut Farm, and as you can see, we're about to go meet Sandra. She's the one who actually owns the farm, and she's going to show us the whole way of how it's actually done, produced, picked, and how she does things.
Well, let's start with flower. These are an A-series variety, so they tend to be more open, and they give sort of dappled light underneath, which is what you want, because where the light can get through the tree, then you're going to get flowers, and where you've got flowers, you're going to get nuts. Like, they potentially could be all macadamias, but they won't be. So you might get 1 or 2 off this, or you might get a whole bunch of grapes off them if they all get pollinated. But what happens is the flower caterpillar comes and gets into the flower when it's bigger and more open than this, and then it just sucks all the goodness out, so then it'll never become a nut. So
I noticed you found these on the ground, but how do you come to, is it hand harvested or?
No. So they actually fall when they're mature, and a machine with we've got a finger wheel harvester, and it runs like this over the top of the nuts. So it sort of runs parallel discs that run over the top of the nut, and it's got little lugs on the end of each of the plastic fingers, and then the nuts get stuck in there, and then they roll around as you go, and then they fall off that into an auger on the back of the tractor.
Okay.
So you can have a look at it if you like.
It picks up like the specific sizes? So
It just picks up everything. Rocks and
everything?
Yeah. We haven't got too many rocks here, so that's not too bad.
This is what we grow. We don't grow pine nuts here. We don't grow almonds here. So when we're using nuts for things, it makes sense to use, if we're doing a dessert or we're doing a savoury dish or something like that, where you would normally use peanuts or pine nuts or something like that, we use macadamias because they're delicious and they're fresh from here and they're native to the region.
Okay, so what happens in here, the nuts get dropped off into a receival bin outside from the tractor into a big bin outside. They come up an elevator here, and they drop through. So that green machine over there takes all the husks, the outside of the husk off the nuts. So it just sort of rubs it up against some steel plates, and that takes the husk off. And the nuts fall into this round machine here, which is called a trommel. And see how it's got like little slots in it. So anything that's too small will fall down the bottom. So from there, the nuts come down here. They go through an air sorter. So there's a curtain of air that comes up here, and that rolls around, just pushes anything that's that's really light or has a high surface area, gets blown up into this top bit. And then the good nuts, which we want lots of, they all come down here. This all turns, and they roll as well. So you're standing here and you can turn it up real fast, and the nuts roll on this so you can see any defects that are in them, and then you can pull them out. The all good nuts go up this elevator into the conveyor and then into whichever big bin we're looking at putting them in at the time. So each of those bins, when they're full, can hold about 10 tonne. And under each of the bins, it's a plinth floor that you can have a look at in a minute, and it's all got holes in it. Underneath there, we have really giant fans that can either push up air from the bottom or suck it down from the hot roof space down through the nuts, and that gets them dried down to about 10%. Most people are fairly aware, I think, if you pick a nut off a tree and you go to crack it, most of the nut will actually stay in the shell because it's too wet still. So once it's dried enough, it sort of shrinks up, and then you can get them out, more whole nuts out of drier nuts.
So in a season, how many tonnes would come through here, roughly?
At the moment, so we've got young trees that are still coming up age-wise, but at the moment about 70, 80 tonne.
Wow. And every single one of them gets your eye over it, basically.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a pretty labour intensive, isn't it?
It is. It's amazing though, because you could be sort of sorting here, and then your eyes do get trained for what you're looking for. So what we do with most of our flavours is we try and source as many of the ingredients from local suppliers that we can. So we've got, so this is smoky barbecue. We've got a lemon myrtle, which incorporates locally grown lemon myrtle and limes from our tree. We have a chili and ginger, which is also all locally sourced, ginger and locally sourced chili.
Any particular flavour, Doug?
I think lemon myrtle, got to try it.
I think I
Lemon
like
That's
lemon
right.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next stop, Tagigan Road, to see a new producer growing exotic mushrooms for restaurants straight out of this unassuming shed in the middle of a field. We descend into the dark, oxygen and humidity controlled room and discover another world growing under the lights.
How are you, mate?
Good to meet you. Good to meet you, Doug. It's Scott.
Coming guys. So in here, they get light, they get perfect humidity, they get fresh air exchange, right, which is giving them their oxygen. And that's all they need to grow. So that's a pink oyster variety. These little guys are a shimiji or a blue oyster. And then you've got white oysters below them. Actually, we've got lion's mane.
There we go.
Fruiting up here. So they've been used in traditional medicines for a long time, and they've been linked to neurological repair. So very, very good for your brain. So this is my first trials. Apparently they taste like lobster as well. So hopefully they do all those things. These ones here are on their first flush, right? And you can see the different stages here. You can see them pinning, which is when they're really small little bumps, right? And then after they pin, they get to this stage within a day and a half, right? It's very fast. And then, another day, this is probably only 3/4 of a day ahead. And then after that, they really will start to get a lot bigger and look closer to what some of these are. This is the second flush, so this is a smaller flush than the first one. Sometimes they'll make a big hole, and it's a pretty big hole. Sometimes they'll break off really neat, like this one, and not destroy your bag so much, which is nice. But
So what sort of flavour do these have?
I think that they've got a little bit of a seafoody flavour as well, but it might be colour that's tricking me more than anything. You know?
Well, they sort of say that's where the oyster mushroom thing comes from, is that slightly oystery
flavour,
flavour.
seafoody flavour.
Yeah.
So
I guess
these
it's
are
like umami, isn't it?
Yes,
mushrooms umami.
that's
it's
how
the
they
same
describe it.
Similar sort of thing to what an oyster has.
just feel the texture of that. They're actually quite.
Wow.
These ones are a lot firmer
like
than
a
the white
petal.
mushroom, the white oysters and the shimiji, whereas these ones last a lot better. They present better for a longer time, which is nice. It's good. It's set up in a way that when I fill the shelving there and then put centre shelving, I'll probably look at 200 bags. So on a first flush, for 200 bags, you're getting close to 200 kilos of mushrooms, and that would be every week.
Size.
In this size, yeah, that's right. Essentially, these are the ingredients that I use to feed them. So that's just hardwood sawdust, no treating, no chemicals or anything like that, it's already untreated, and no softwood, so no pines or things like that. This is the other ingredient, and it's just the byproduct of creating soybeans or making soybeans. So this is the outside hull, and they process it and turn it into horse food. The horse likes it, and the mushrooms like it. This is an example of a bag that was spawned on the 16th. Okay, so that was probably cooked on the 14th or whatever. They were spawned, it was sat on the shelf and colonised over that time, and you can kind of feel it. It's quite firm. It's like foam, isn't it? And rubbery and foamy, yeah. So that's mycelium growth, so it's not around the outside, it's all the way through it, which is why you get that feel. And at this stage, it's ready to go fruiting. Okay, so at this point here, you know that you've got the substrate right, the spawning right, everything's gone right so far. This was one of the borderline ones. I was like, do I throw it or don't I throw it? Because the mycelium's still winning, but I probably won't fruit this in my room because of the introduction of contaminants. I'll probably fruit it up at the house on the kitchen bench. Yeah. Or you guys can take it and someone else can fruit it, you know.
So you would put that, literally put it as is on a kitchen bench, and it would just fruit.
Yeah, so just cut a hole in it. You can take it if you want. I'm serious.
In the caravan?
Yeah, in the caravan would be perfect.
Yeah,
especially at the moment, these temperatures, and you can grow some mushrooms. Probably get, this started life as about a 2 kilo bag, so you probably get about 1.3 kilos of mushrooms of them.
Oh, hell yeah.
Over a couple of flushes. First flush will probably be about 400 or 500 grams.
So what I would just chop a little hole in, or chop it off at the top?
Cut it here. Cut hole here. Don't dig real deep into the mycelium, just sort of slice the plastic and then peel the plastic off. And then just, a little bit of water each day. Most of the water that they need to grow is in the bag already, right? But you need to spray the face with water because it can dry out. It's not super humid at the moment with being winter, but the face will dry out and it'll hinder whether the fruit want to actually fruit for you. Yeah. I've got bags that I've turned into the soil out there, into a garden bed, and 4 weeks later they're growing mushrooms. So if you can't grow mushrooms off that bag, we've got serious.
Don't say that.
Look at you.
I'm actually more excited than I ever thought I would be about growing mushrooms. How cool is this? This is exactly why we've come. Learn a new skill. So now it's kombucha, mushrooms.
Yep.
This van is going to be a pretty interesting place after a couple of months.
It's going to smell great.
Cooloola Berry is an award-winning family-run berry farm growing a huge variety of blueberries and strawberries. They also make everything you could imagine out of them, including a very nice cider, which we could have, and would have, drunk all day given half the chance. But we had to keep ourselves on point for the cook-off at the end of the day.
And strawberries we make.
Yeah, really.
Amazing.
Cheers.
Thank you. Wow.
Blueberry cider. Oh, yeah, blueberry and pear.
Yep.
Blueberry and pear.
These blueberries, these ones here. That's a little hand of blueberries coming up. Yeah.
So the blueberries will, by the looks of that, they'll just grow all the way.
They grow all the way down on every single piece. So see here, he's starting to, they're actually a little bit earlier this year. So he's starting to flower on all fronts there. These are 4 years, and they reckon you sort of get 20 years out of them. So
Okay.
it's a little investment for a big.
Yeah, and they love the heat.
Yeah, and acidic soil. So our soil here is fairly acidic, so it's very gravelly. We've got a good water table about 2 metres under. So as soon as they get down to that, they take off. So we don't even water the buggers. They're pretty self-sufficient.
Sounds like the best crop.
Each one of these plants will produce at least 1 kilo of fruit over the season. So this little patch here has got 23,000 plants. So 23 tonne of strawberries will come out of this from June to November.
Do you worry about birds or anything? Or?
No, not really, no.
That's actually the bane of my mum's strawberry patch or raspberry patch. The birds will just come in and eat everything from it.
Yeah, I've got a little black dog that runs around, and she hates things with feathers. So she patrols the patch.
And things like rain and hail. What does that do to a crop like this?
So 25 mils of rain, every strawberry's bucket.
Really?
Okay,
wow.
15 mils of rain, they'll start to go on the ends, just a little bit soft on the ends. We'll be able to pack a little bit of that stuff once it dries, and the rest we just chop up and use. So rain, like an inch of rain is devastating. The whole pick's gone, but because you pick them every 3 days, the next pick is not too bad, and then the pick after is even better. So these are the strawberry with the highest proportion of sugar. Have a taste. That's probably the best way to taste one. And again, they've got to be nice and ripe. Not quite ripe enough.
Oh wow, that is so sweet.
So these are what we would say to a chef who wants to make sauces and that sort of stuff. Use ruby gems. Where if you want to put something on a dessert, like a nice dessert, and have a nice strawberry, looks lovely, or cut it and maintain shape and not bleed. The granadas are
because like each one of those we saw looked
perfect.
Postcard perfect.
Right. So these next ones here, these are what these are called Scarlet Roses. So these are a Queensland variety, and they are massive, but they have a very soft flesh. If I can find a ripe one, have a taste. Pick the one there.
This one?
They're a different taste again.
See what you mean?
Yeah. So I like these. These are a little bit softer.
And not quite as intense at the start as the ruby gems, but at the end, you still get all that sweetness.
Yep.
Yeah.
You see how that strawberry is coloured up down the bottom, and the top's still white. Okay, even when they are fully sort of losing that full colour should be all the way up.
Yeah.
But that's what the supermarkets like. So they look like they're fresh in a punnet. So that's
okay. So that's what the supermarkets want it to look like.
That's
textbook strawberry.
That's it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like it's all red. The bottom bit tastes nice. Top bit is just all full like chalk.
When you have them in a shop, you wouldn't be able to really tell that's a strawberry, that's a strawberry, that's a strawberry.
No.
When you taste one after the other, it's significantly different.
Yes,
the taste.
That's right.
Stuff that we've been out collecting today, and I thought I've got mushrooms and I've got the macadamias, and I'm going to do some little beetle leaves with those things and some local tempeh, and I've just picked some green strawberries out of the garden as well. I'm going to incorporate those because they've got texture, they've got no sweetness, there's no sugars in them, but and I'm thinking beards should stick with beards, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree.
So you and Duncan, me and Sophie.
Sounds like a plan. Without the beard.
Yeah, excuse for a beard. This isn't a beard. So,
all right.
So we're going to go first, and then you're going to go second.
I'll be Team Duncan. You'll be Team Sophie.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is a little snacky thing that we actually do at View as a little amuse. So like something that we'd send out to the customers as they come in for dinner. Here's a little snacky thing to start you off, just to get your taste buds cracking. And the thing I love about it is that it incorporates just a whole lot of different local producers in one little mouthful.
Yeah.
So these are beetle leaves that we picked out of my garden today.
Yeah.
And they're a variety of pepper, but they're great for like a sanchoy bao sort of thing where you stick everything on there and you wrap it up and you stick it in your mouth.
Yeah,
sort of
like
thing.
one mouthful.
So we've got some of those. I'll put some of those out. And then I've got the mushrooms and the macadamias. And then the other sort of star ingredient of this is going to be the tempeh. So tempeh is like a fermented compressed soybeans. Very popular in Indonesia and Malaysia and countries like that. It's really like one of those good gut health things.
Really, Duncan would love this.
Absolutely. Fermented soybeans, and there's a local couple in Yandina, or Cooloola Berries near Yandina, that have been making this for about 30 years, and it's like the legendary. It's called Mighty Bean Tempeh, and we use a lot of it in our restaurant because we get a lot of vegan stuff through now, a lot of vegan customers, and it's nice to be able to give them something that's not just you get the pasta with tomatoes.
Yeah.
You know, like it, and they come in and they're just so shocked that there's something
it's something that tastes
not
nice
boring for them to eat.
Put into it.
So yeah, what we do is you know, you can cut this into pieces and use it, you know, slice it and fry it or whatever, which is the usual way to do it. But what we do, because it's kind of...
And it's pre-scored?
It's pre-scored, so it's, you know, that's, I think, probably to get all that flavour through it, because it's marinated as well. But what we do is we kind of turn it back into soybeans. So you're kind of almost turning it into tempeh mince. So it becomes that san choy bao sort of effect. And what we do is we just break it into mince and then fry it like you would with mince.
Yeah.
So add a little bit of soy sauce to it to season it up.
Yeah.
And that's going to be one of the parts of this. So a little bit of oil in one of
We
these
make
pans.
san choy bao probably once a week.
Oh,
at
do you
least.
really?
Yeah.
Ah, there
so
you
this
go.
will be a different way
You'll be
of doing it for
You'll be
us.
able to try this out with the tempeh now. With this, all I'm doing is just sort of breaking up a little bit into its minciness and getting a little bit of colour into it. And you can add other stuff to this as well if you like, but we're adding so many different flavours to this, it doesn't need much.
Yeah.
So it's really just about getting some caramelisation into it. So in that pan is that, and then in another pan, I'm going to use these beautiful pink oyster mushrooms that we got from Scott before. And I've done some up already. What we'll do is we'll take one off. And what we do in the restaurant is it's kind of like a pickled oyster mushroom. So it's
Yeah.
almost like salt and vinegar mushrooms. Where
The colour of it's so pink, it almost looks like pickled ginger.
Yeah, it does. And they're absolutely really great texture, these pink ones as well. And I'll put some oil into that one as well. And just fry these. Get them kind of caramelised, a bit of colour in them as well.
Yeah.
And then add some salt and some rice vinegar to those, so they kind of get that salt and vinegar effect. So this is the first two bits that go onto the beetle leaf, and then a bit of salt. So then there's the other flavourings that go with this as well. So that's probably about all we need to do for the tempeh.
Yeah.
And then just season it, a little bit of soy sauce. The other thing I was going to use was some of these green strawberries. This is what all the cool kids are doing these days.
Yeah, I did wonder how this is going to work.
Green strawberries are very cool right now. And I'm just going to slice them up and give them a little pickle as well. Because, you know, there's no sweetness in them. There's no sugars that have developed yet. But you've got texture and you've got sourness, which is something that I want for this, to balance everything out. So
You are cutting that so finely.
it's a nice way of sort of the synergy of bringing together the mushroom grower that's 3 k's down the road and the strawberries together in one dish. We'll go like that, give them a little wilt. I haven't done this before, by the way. This is brand new. It's hot off the press. A little tiny bit of rice vinegar, just to give them that pickle. And that's that bit done. Okay.
I like it when food doesn't take ages to make either. You know,
Absolutely,
like
it
you're
doesn't
getting hungry
need to be.
and you just start making it and it's ready to come.
Look, the message, I guess, if there's any message in using good, fresh, seasonal, local produce, is that you shouldn't do very much with it, you know, and you don't need to. You're like the produce speaks for itself. If you're taking the mushrooms and turning them into a mousse, and the strawberries and, you know, making them into a foam and making stuff explode on the plate,
Yeah.
it's kind of just a complete waste of time, you know. Just enjoy it for the product that it is. So then we've got Lindols Macadamias, and these are the lemon myrtle macadamias. Funnily enough, the lemon myrtle comes from a lady that's on this road as well.
Oh.
So it's all very interconnected here.
So what's the radius, do you think, from everything that's being used today?
Oh, it's probably, 10, 15 kilometres from each other, I'd say, all up. So I'm just going to chop some of these up. And what I love about this, when you send it out to people, you know, it's great because it's gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, ticks every single dietary box. And it's a really nice, great way to illustrate what we're trying to do at View, and that's, you know, using local produce, but this is 6 different producers in one bite. What else have I got here? I can start putting these together now. So I'm going to put...
This is the fiddly part, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but you kind of just build them up. And the idea is that you pick the whole thing up, you put a whole thing in your mouth all in one go. Put couple of strips of
I'm just
mushroom.
looking at it and everything looks like it's got a different texture, so it all goes in your mouth together. You'll get
and
the
the
crunch
thing is,
and the,
because it's wrapped up in the leaf, you chew into it and it all pops at different times. So you go, oh, there's finger lime, oh, there's mushrooms, and everything hits you at a different time. So it's a little flavour bomb. So I'm going to put some coconut yogurt on there next, a little squirt of that. So you kind of get that nice creaminess, almost like a curry sort of effect in there as you eat this. And then some macadamias on each one. And then some chili sambols to give us some heat. This stuff here, so we make this up in the restaurant. It's lemongrass and shallots and garlic and ginger and chilies and all things good with, cooked down with palm sugar, and we keep it, we just use salt instead of fish sauce so that, once again, it's a vegan thing. Okay. So, chili sambal. And then just a couple more things going on there. This is some finger limes.
Oh. I love the texture of the finger limes. It's like caviar, isn't it? Just
it
pops
is.
in your mouth.
And you can see these ones are a pink champagne, they're called, so they've got really bright red flesh. And you can just squeeze it out, and then you get that little.
And so some finger limes have got more white. Are they?
Yeah, look, there's about 6 or 7 different colours now that you can get, different hybrids, and so there's yellow ones, orange ones, green ones. There's a chartreuse, which is a beautiful colour green. These ones are from a lady down at Glasshouse, who we get them from direct from her, and they're usually finger limes are something that's usually like January to March. And then you use frozen ones the rest of the year because you can't get them. But she's managed to grow these plants that produce finger limes all year round. So we've always got fresh finger limes to use, which is great. And then just to finish it off, just some native mint. So this I picked out of my garden this morning. It's looking a bit sad now, but I'm going to throw it on there for flavour anyway. So native mint is you have a little, just rub that and have a little sniff of it.
Wow.
I go to my local little land care up in Gympie and just buy a whole lot of tube stock of their native mint and just whack it through my garden, and then whenever I need it, I've got it there. And it's a really different sort of mint, and it's a cute little leaf as well. It looks really cool. So that's it, we've done it. But it's a great little combination of, macadamias, tempeh, mushrooms, beetle leaves from my garden, finger limes, coconut yogurt, native mint, 7 different things that we know the origins of every single thing that's on there.
And everything within a 15k radius.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
This looks so good. Oh my god.
It is the flavour bomb, isn't it?
It's a flavour bomb. Yeah, coconut yogurt is insane. And then you get the crunch of the macadamias, and then like the citrusy pop of the finger limes.
We're not going to give any to the other team.
I'm not sharing.
I'll just take these out the back.
They didn't do any hard work.
Sorry, guys. No, exactly.
Beard team.
Team Beard. All right, so today we're at Cooloola Berries Farm, and we're actually going to be doing a dessert with Cooloola Berries, surprise enough, yeah?
Makes sense.
So we're going to be doing Cooloola Berries done 4 ways. So we're going to be doing a Cooloola Berry puree, which is like a coulis that we've done in the kitchen. We're going to put that in the bottom, then we're going to pipe in the Cooloola Berry whipped cream. Then we're going to put fresh Cooloola berries on the top of it with some dehydrated Cooloola berries as well.
Wow, okay.
And then to top it off, we're going to put the Lindols Macadamia nuts on top that we just managed at the farm, so it's going to be good. Let's start playing.
Yeah.
All right, so first thing you're going to do, I'm going to let you do this. So we're just going to take the top of it off with a knife, just lightly slice it down there, and we're going to cut them into 6s. So I'll give you the first root. Yep. I'm going to cut them that way. I'm going to cut them into 6, each half.
Okay, half.
So that, yeah,
quarters. Okay.
Half and then quarters again.
Perfect. So you'd say I'm already ahead of Soph because I've got a task in this cooking process?
Not only do you have a task, but you have a sharp knife in your hand. That's going to hold in nice and tight like that. Look at you go. You're all over it, aren't you? Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get the cream.
Yep.
We're just going to pipe this in. So this cream is not just plain whipped cream, it's actually also been folded through with strawberries as well. So it's like a strawberry cream.
So fresh strawberry cream.
Yep, so that's the 2
strawberry
ways.
puree.
Yep. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to put the diced on top, so I'll let you do that.
About a...
Yep, that's it. Right in the middle.
Right in the middle, sorry.
That's it. Cool beans. Now we're going to use the Lindols Macadamia nuts that we've just done. And then we're going to put some of the dried. Just like that. And I'll put them on there like that. that's it.
Very nice.
So simple, so easy.
Did you just
presents
say
well.
very nice?
Very nice.
I said very nice, but I wish I had the puns to say very nice. Let's pretend I did. So,
This is for you to try.
all right,
Yeah,
straight away.
straight into it.
Wow,
Team Duncan Beard wins.
it's very nice.
Dunk, I think you're just eating, aren't you?
I chopped.
He worked hard for it.
Chopped 3 strawberries. Come on.
With the cooking done, it was time to eat. Sharing the food with a bunch of producers that had rocked up to enjoy their produce, a cold beer, and to have a yarn. It really was the perfect end to a fun-filled day.
Verdict, guys. Who won?
I think it was a tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so. That's fair.
I wouldn't want to pick between you, so. although the,
Because you're on the bus all the way home. Yeah, that's
I'm going to say the strawberries were cut pretty perfectly,
I
and
think that's the best strawberries I've ever seen.
very, very nicely cut. Yeah. Good luck with everything. Yeah.
Today had been one hell of a long day, leaving the hotel and arriving back in the dark. We headed straight to the hotel bar with Andy and grabbed another cocktail and chatted late into the night about everything. The day, Noosa produce, what it's like to live in the Noosa region. I'm not gonna lie, by the end of the night, the area had moved way up the list of possible locations for us to call our future home. If we can stop travelling long enough, that is. We are going to head to Matt's restaurant at the hotel and try some of the produce that we saw yesterday cooked by our professional chefs, which we are very excited about. We're going to have no involvement this time, and I've even heard from Matt that they do an incredible tiramisu with wattle seed and macadamias from the farms yesterday. So let's go.
Cold pizza Tuesday. I got food up in the fridge. Y'all keep looking for that new wave. I think I like it how it is. Cold pizza on a Tuesday.
Yum.
I got
Homemade tofu, miso roasted eggplant, sauteed oyster mushrooms, pak choy, and soy sesame dressing. I'm not gluten-free, dairy-free, or vegan, but that sounds amazing.
those oyster mushrooms, and seeing those, we know exactly where they came from.
And now you've got to make them yourself too. You've
And
got
now
to
I've
grow
got a
them.
bag of mushrooms and I need to make it myself, so.
Y'all keep looking for a new wave. I think I like it how it is.
Pretty excited to have lunch actually. Get to taste all the ingredients
that we looked at yesterday. I know you've got the oyster mushrooms coming, and we've got fish of the day, and I can even see the beetle leaf being planted over there that we went and collected from his house the other day. So, man, you can see how interrelated the chefs are with everything that happens here.
Homemade butter.
Homemade butter and house-made sourdough.
So good. It's always annoying when you've got to share it. Andy was telling us the other day how Matt was out and rescued 2 sugar gliders on the side of the road who'd been abandoned by their mum. And when he took them to pet rescue, they asked him to name them, and he named them Tira and Masu, and then obviously said, well, we need to have a tiramisu on the menu. It's crazy that we don't. They bought 2 spoons, but as you can see, this one is clean because there's no way Duncan is getting any of this. And then he'll be sat around for about 10 minutes.
It's not actually true. When I go and say to Soph, is she ready? She looks at me with a disgusted look and says, do I look ready? My question is never, are you ready that second? Because I can see you do something else. It's, are you almost ready? Because it's getting time to leave and we're already late. But if anyone out there who asks that question innocently and gets shouted at, I've learned my lesson. From now on, I'm going, will you be ready soon, rather than, are you ready? Because
what you mean is, hurry up, we're late.
What I do mean is, hurry the F up, we're already late, your makeup looks fine. Anyway, we are running late, sun's going down.
The sun doesn't wait.
Let's get to the pool. Come on, hurry up. What did you just ask me? What dress should you wear to the pool?
It's a big decision.
Hurry up.
One that you clearly care about as much as me.
You go to the pool, it doesn't matter what dress you're wearing. And I'm here, I've got my backpack on. I am ready to go.
This is what I'm going to wear.
Perfect, it was the best choice.
Ta-da!
If we get you out the door quicker, that was the dress I was going to pick.
Alright. I'll take this.
As soon as I turned the camera around, or turned the camera off before, Sophie laughed and went, I'm nowhere near ready. It's just like, I knew you wouldn't be. I knew you were just saying it for the camera. And then as soon as I turned it off, she's like, oh no, where's my bag? Where's everything else? Right, are we and like, for the last time, are we ready?
I'm ready, hang on.
My God.
Yeah, I'm going to put my next load of washing on, hang on.
She's an idiot. Right, let's go.
So now I'm waiting for you.
Not funny, Woods.
I get called Woods when you're annoyed with me. My maiden name.
Finally out of the door. Hopefully on our way. Soph just made a very good point, because it's golden hour and everything looks amazing, that I've rushed her to get out, and then I've been out here taking videos and photos and not actually walking to the pool. So I suppose there's a little humble pie for me. We all have our faults.
Yeah, I think next time you can go on ahead, and by the time you get to where we're meant to be going, I'll have caught you up.
Probably about right, to be honest, probably about right.
Perfect timing. I wasn't late at all.
I was not expecting to get up here and there not be anyone here. I know it's a bit of a private pool and I think you need to get a special key cut, but if you ask, they seem to be pretty accommodating, like we did. So, yeah, up here with this view.
In the next video, we ditch the van again, but this time we swap comfort for camping. We load the Ranger with an esky full of food and a double swag, and head off for a week to the four-wheel driving mecca of Australia, Fraser Island.
No. Pretty Caroline, stone cold stunner. She was a winner, started working at the dine. Searches of her mind to count your blessings, 'cause it's telling
Oh, just woken up in Coongal Creek. I don't think it gets much better than this.
We just drove through about an hour of huge pine forests, and in the middle, I can't actually believe this, the photos do not do this place justice. This is Lake Mackenzie. If you haven't already subscribed, I can assure you you'll want to for this one. This place blew us away. It exceeded all my expectations. I literally can't speak highly enough of it. So until then, stay safe, have fun, keep exploring.